the thing about it right now is it's still super convoluted. Like you're gonna need to be able to tell this story
Hmm.
in such a easily digestible way
Yeah.
that isn't convoluted. I mean, I can even just let me show you my mind map real quick. Like it's shit all over the place. It's not even like that much, but all these linked to other things, and like there's a ton of stuff on here. It doesn't look like much, but even this is like confusing. Trying to map out the story, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to be able to digest this for like you need a 5 minute little video that proves it so
Yeah.
that the normies are like, oh shit, that is bad. Yeah, that is
I
bad.
I think I think the way in is relatively simple. And then when you peel back the layers, it gets incredibly complex, right? The mechanisms of how these crimes were committed are complex. And then, as Solomon has been saying for a month, etc., it goes forward on the timeline into all these different crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're just thinking grand jury, uh, what's how does he word it there? Intelligence abuses against Trump, right? That's essentially what they're saying this is being impaneled for. I think the lead in is fairly simple. It's you have everyone knows about the Russiagate conspiracy, right? No matter what your normie friends, my normie friends think about it or care about it, everyone knows about it. It's just a ubiquitous thing. So, okay, grand jury, you know the Russiagate thing, that giant narrative that demonized Donald Trump for his entire first term and dogged him? That story was made up in collusion between the sitting, outgoing Obama administration and the incoming Hillary Clinton campaign. I think that, even to a bipartisan audience, whether they agree with it or not, is a pretty simple sell. All the details of how that was done get very complicated, but you're basically just saying, you know, the most famous thing ever discussed about Donald Trump? It's a lie, and we are here to prove to you that the sitting president and the person he wanted to win the election, and that's all public, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the heavy lifting for a grand jury has been done by these public figures.
Yeah.
Donald Trump amplified the Russiagate narrative. All of them amplified the narrative. And nobody, Democrat or Republican, would have any qualms about accepting the premise that Barack Obama wanted Hillary Clinton to be the next president, right?
Yeah.
And might have been willing to do something to make that happen. So I think that's, and I even love that Solomon and others are using that word collusion. It's a perfect inversion, right?
Yeah.
How do you invert the Russia collusion narrative? Collusion between Obama and Clinton. Then I really think we're at the beginning of years of not a trial, but trials of, well, then it led to this, and then it led to the election, and then it led to this. But
Yeah.
for this grand jury, I know Solomon, I might be wrong here. I know Solomon's talking about a grand conspiracy, but you can have a grand conspiracy that is just about Russiagate. And then you can bring other charges about everything that then led out from that.
No, that's wrong. Because you have to,
That's wrong.
in order to have the statute of limitations, you have to do the most recent stuff. Otherwise, the Russiagate stuff doesn't fit in.
Okay.
So it has to include it all. What
Well,
I'm
that's the
what
starting point anyway.
Oh yeah, he said it there, and it's what we've been
Yeah.
saying. It starts with the mid-year exam and how they handled that, and then switched over to the Russiagate stuff, like the two different handlings. Which I think once, and I think I've said this before too, once they get through whatever this phase is that they get through, maybe we don't get the justice that we want and demand from just this Grand Rico case. But what if we go back and reopen the mid-year exam and Hillary Clinton's emails that was
Right.
never properly investigated because of what they were doing with this Grand Rico case? And what
This
if we go back
creates
to the
predicate.
Benghazi thing? And what if we go
Right.
back to like the gun smuggling stuff? Because of how they handled, if you can prove that the intelligence community did not properly handle intelligence or weaponized the government in the opposite direction by not actually doing what they're supposed to do, how many crimes were committed that they just let slip through the cracks? Like those things can then probably be reopened and re-examined regardless of the statute of limitations because of the conspiracy aspect of this whole thing coming up to like this most recent date.